Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's always a privilege to have you here. Today we need to talk about a political earthquake that just shook Nigeria's landscape. The Federal High Court has officially struck out Julius Abure's suit challenging INEC, insisting that he has no claim to the Labour Party chairmanship. Yes, you heard me right. Abure, who has been parading himself as the national chairman of the Labour Party, has been told in clear, unmistakable terms by the court that his claim has no legal foundation. Now, some people might dismiss this as just another intra-party drama, just another story of political back and forth. But no, this ruling goes way deeper than that. It carries with it lessons about leadership, integrity, and the urgent need for Nigerians to wake up to the game that politicians continue to play with our collective future. Let's unpack this properly, because behind the courtroom drama lies a mirror reflecting the sickness of Nigeria's political system. Abure has for months been locked in a tussle over the leadership of the Labour Party, a party that came into national prominence because of the obedient movement, because of the hope it ignited in millions of ordinary Nigerians who are tired of corruption, tired of recycled politicians, tired of a system that rewards mediocrity and punishes honesty. Yet, while young Nigerians were rallying around Peter Obi, sacrificing their time, their resources, their safety even, what was happening behind the scenes? Power struggles, ego clashes, people desperate to control the party machinery, not for the interest of the people, but for their own selfish gain. That's the reality that this Abure case exposes. The court striking out his suit is not just a personal humiliation for him, it is an indictment of the political culture that has held Nigeria hostage for decades. Think about it. At a time when Nigerians are facing hunger like never before, when the naira has lost its value to the point where basic food items are becoming luxury goods, when insecurity has turned highways into death traps, and when young people are fleeing the country in droves because they have lost hope here, what are our so-called leaders doing? Fighting over who gets to sit in the chairman's seat of a political party, fighting over titles and control instead of fighting for the people they claim to represent. And that's why this court ruling resonates beyond the Labour Party. It is a reminder that politics in Nigeria has never been about service, but about self-preservation. Abure being stripped of his claim to the Labour Party chair is symbolic. It shows how fragile our institutions are, how quick politicians are to drag even people's movements into the mud of personal ambition. And my people, let's be honest with ourselves, isn't this the same story that has repeated itself across APC, PDP, and every so-called major political party? Leadership that is obsessed with power for its own sake, not leadership that is obsessed with delivering results. Now let's look at the broader implications. For INEC, this ruling gives them a moment of triumph. For months, Nigerians have been questioning their credibility, asking why an institution that is supposed to be neutral, independent, and transparent has instead been acting like a willing tool in the hands of those in power. Yet here, the court sided with INEC's position. Should we applaud them, or should we ask harder questions? Because while Abure's humiliation is making headlines, Nigerians must not forget the bigger story, that our electoral system is broken. INEC has failed Nigerians before, and one court victory doesn't erase the stains of incompetence and complicity that the 2023 elections left on their record. And for the Labour Party itself, what does this mean? It means that at the very moment when Nigeria needed a united, strong, and visionary opposition, the party has been torn apart by infighting. Instead of consolidating on the momentum of millions of Nigerians who defied the old order during the last elections, the Labour Party has been busy entertaining court cases, leadership crises, and petty politics. Abure's downfall should be a wake-up call, not just for the Labour Party, but for every Nigerian youth who once carried that green, white, green flag with pride, chanting, "We are the structure." The truth is, the structure we need is not a chairman in Abuja, it is us, the people, the ordinary Nigerians who have the numbers, the energy, the passion, and the determination to change this country if only we stay united. So, let's pause and reflect. What does this say about Nigeria's democracy? It says that our democracy is still fragile, still shallow, still at risk of being hijacked by selfish interests. The humiliation of Abure should teach us that leaders without integrity will always eventually fall, but it should also remind us that if we, the citizens, remain passive, then their fall doesn't automatically translate into our gain. Because while Abure is being stripped of titles, Nigerians are still stripped of dignity. While the court is striking out suits, hunger is striking homes. While judges are declaring who is chairman, mothers are declaring their children missing because of kidnappers. So the real question is, when will Nigerians realize that the solution will never come from courtroom dramas alone, but from the collective resolve of the people to demand accountability? Let me get very real here. Every day, Nigerians wake up to skyrocketing prices. Rice, gari, yam, bread, things that used to be the staple of the common man are now unaffordable luxuries. Students are out of school because of strikes. Parents are out of jobs because industries are collapsing. And even those who are employed are earning salaries that can't survive 1 week in today's economy. Yet politicians like Abur are busy dragging one another to court. This is why I say, Nigerians, it's time to stop clapping for politicians when they fall and start asking, how does this benefit me? How does this improve my life? How does this restore my dignity as a citizen of one of the richest nations in Africa? And here's the painful truth. If we don't learn to channel our anger, our frustration, and our disappointment into organized action, into civic responsibility, into political awareness, then this humiliation of Abure will just be another episode in Nigeria's never-ending political drama series. But if we learn from it, if we use it as fuel to demand better, to build movements that cannot be hijacked by selfish leaders, then maybe, just maybe, this will be remembered not as Abure's downfall, but as the beginning of Nigeria's awakening. So what are the solutions? First, Nigerians must understand that power truly belongs to the people. No matter how politicians scheme, no matter how many courtrooms they occupy, without the people's support, they are nothing. Youths must reclaim the energy of 2023 and sustain it, not just for one election cycle, but for the long haul. That means participating in politics at the grassroots, monitoring government policies, demanding accountability every single day, and refusing to be distracted by propaganda. Second, we must insist on electoral reform. One of the reasons politicians can play these games is because our electoral process is weak. We need laws that make it impossible to rig, impossible to manipulate results, impossible to exploit loopholes. Technology must be embraced fully. Live transmission of results from polling units must be mandatory, and INEC must be held accountable not just by courts, but by citizens. Third, we must begin to demand character from our leaders. Nigerians have for too long celebrated thieves, praised looters, and elevated mediocrity. Enough is enough. If a leader has no track record of integrity, no vision beyond his pocket, no compassion for the ordinary man, then that leader has no business being in power. Abure's humiliation is proof that eventually selfishness collapses on itself. Finally, we must never give up hope. Yes, Nigeria is tough. Yes, the system is rigged against us. But remember this, no empire of corruption lasts forever. If young Nigerians refuse to bow, refuse to sell their votes, refuse to be divided along ethnic or religious lines, then change will come faster than anyone imagines. The humiliation of one politician will mean nothing compared to the empowerment of millions of citizens. So my people, as we digest the humiliation of Abure, let's not make the mistake of thinking this story ends with him. No, it begins with us. It begins with you watching this right now, asking yourself, what role can I play in building the Nigeria of our dreams? Because until we stop seeing politics as a spectator sport and start seeing it as our collective responsibility, the cycle will continue. Abure may have lost his claim to the Labour Party chair, but the bigger loss will be ours if we fail to seize this moment as a turning point. Nigeria needs you. Nigeria needs your voice, your courage, your refusal to settle for less. Together, we can write a new story for this nation, one where the humiliation is not of politicians, but of poverty, of corruption, of insecurity, of hopelessness. So, if you've stayed with me till now, here's what I want you to do. Let's start a conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think this ruling means for the Labour Party? for Peter Obi's movement, and for Nigeria as a whole? Do you think this is just another political distraction, or do you see it as a chance for Nigerians to wake up and demand better? Share this video widely. Let it reach every Nigerian from the villages to the cities, because civic awareness is the first step toward change. And if you're new here or you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do so right now. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, because here we don't sugarcoat. We speak truth to power, boldly, passionately, and unapologetically. Together, let's build a Nigeria where the humiliation is not of one man in court, but of an entire system of corruption brought to its knees by the will of the people. Nigeria will rise again, and you and I will be part of that story. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.